Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we dig into the sources, pull out the key insights, and basically give you the shortcut to being properly informed. Today, we're kicking things off with a really powerful thought. It's from the designer Karim Rashid. He said, there are no boundaries or borders in the digital age. Just, take a second on that. What does that actually mean for you in your life, your work?
Yeah, that idea, the whole borderless digital world thing.
Yeah.
It really sets the scene, doesn't it? It's fundamental to what we're looking at today, to being ready for, well, everything that's happening.
Absolutely. So our deep dive today is focused on this really important framework that came out in 2022. It's called the Digital Literacy Framework for Students, or DigiLit 1.0.
Yeah.
And this wasn't just, dreamed up in isolation. It's a big collaboration.
Yeah.
We're talking the University of Social Sciences and Humanities, Vietnam National University, Hanoi, and also Meta. It was part of their We Think Digital program.
Right. And if you look at the bigger picture, the whole point was to equip students, 21st century students, with the digital literacy they genuinely need, for living, learning, working, participating in society. The goal is really empowerment, helping them navigate the digital world proactively, positively, and crucially, safely.
Okay, but the big question is why this specific framework? And why now? Globally, we're seeing this massive digital shift, right? It's changing almost everything. Physical stuff is becoming digital. Workforces are completely transforming. And employer demand for digital skills, it barely jumped, 200%? In just the last 3 years. Projections say that's just going to keep climbing fast.
It's a huge surge. But here's the catch, despite all that. Research suggests a lot of young people aren't actually ready. You mentioned Pangrazio's study from 2019, and even way back in 2012, Thompson and DiBertoli found, I think it was 27% of Australian 15-year-olds had low digital literacy. Pretty surprising.
Yeah. It really is. Which brings us to the context in Vietnam specifically, where this framework originated.
Yeah.
It's very relevant there. You got the government's big national digital transformation program that was launched in 2020, setting some really ambitious targets.
Very ambitious. Things like 80% of public services online at level 4, 90% of work records handled online at ministry and provincial levels, and aiming for the digital economy to be, 30% of GDP by 2030. Plus, you had the ILO report, I think it was Change in Hun in 2016, saying 70% of basic jobs in Vietnam are affected by this transformation. So the need for skilled people, for human resources, is just, critical.
Okay, so that sets the stage. Our mission then for this deep dive, let's unpack this framework. We'll pull out the core definitions of digital literacy, look at how it's way more than just tech skills, and then get into the 7 key competency groups and the 26 standards they propose. This should give you not just a shortcut to understanding it all, but hopefully some real practical insights. Insights into what being digitally literate and a responsible digital citizen actually means today.
So the framework starts by building on UNESCO's definition from 2018. Digital literacy, it says, is the ability to access, manage, understand, then combine, communicate, evaluate, and create information safely and appropriately using digital tech. And that covers, everything from simple tasks right up to complex problem solving, even entrepreneurship. What's interesting is how they frame it not as one single skill,
Right.
but as a synthesis. It brings together computer literacy, IT literacy, information literacy, and media literacy. It's a whole package.
That's a really broad definition. It pulls together so many different strands. And the framework makes another crucial point, doesn't it? That it's not just about knowledge or technical skills. It also includes the individual self-responsibility.
Exactly.
Because that's what drives the commitment, the motivation to actually learn to use these competencies. And it's built on things like empathy, critical thinking, problem-solving, creativity, innovation. So it's less about what buttons you can press and more about how you engage with the whole digital world.
Which leads pretty naturally into the idea of a digital citizen. Meta defines that by looking at how we use our rights and responsibilities online, how we figure out what information is good, how we share it, and importantly, how we interact with others. It's really about being an active participant, but also a critical and proficient one.
Using tech responsibly.
Yes, respecting human rights, dignity, all of that. And you really can't be a proper digital citizen without having that digital literacy foundation. It's indispensable.
Okay, let's get into the structure then. How does DigiLit 1.0 break down these abilities? They propose 7 core competency groups. And within those, multiple standards, 26 in total.
Right.
What I find interesting is the focus. It seems less about just, operating the tech.
Right.
And more about applying it in real situations.
Yeah.
With an emphasis on attitude, empathy, critical thinking.
Yes. Problem solving, innovation. It's very application focused.
So the first group is operating devices and software. Now, this isn't just knowing how to, say, open an app. It sounds more like being adaptable, being able to switch between tools quickly because tech changes so fast, right? Turning frustration into, well, fluid problem solving.
Exactly. Think how many new platforms pop up all the time. This competency is about mastering that constant change, not just learning one specific program.
Okay, so from the tools themselves, the next one is information and data exploitation.
This one's about identifying what information you actually need personally, then figuring out good search strategies, finding and accessing the info, and then the really critical part, evaluating those sources and the content. Is it reliable? Is it biased? Plus, storing it, organizing it, and using it ethically and legally.
So much more than just Googling something. It's about discernment, really. Finding truth in that massive, sometimes messy digital sea.
Precisely. Discernment is a great word for it.
Okay, next up. Communication and collaboration in the digital environment. This seems to shift focus to how we interact with others using tech.
Yes. It's where you practice being that digital citizen we talked about. It covers managing your online identity, your digital reputation, and using digital tools to work together, to design things collaboratively, create knowledge together.
So it makes you think not just about what you're saying online, but how you show up, how you contribute to those digital communities.
Exactly. Your digital footprint, your interactions, all of it.
Then we get to digital safety and well-being. This sounds incredibly important.
Oh, profoundly. It covers the obvious things like protecting your devices, your files, your personal data, your privacy online. But it goes further. And this is the part that's maybe less obvious, but just as vital. It extends to protecting your mental and physical health.
Okay.
Recognizing how digital tech impacts social well-being, inclusion, even understanding the environmental footprint of our digital lives. It's a really holistic view of safety. Takes into account all the ripple effects of living digitally.
That's comprehensive. Okay, then there's digital content creation. So this is moving beyond just consuming information online.
Right. It's the active side. Creating and editing digital content yourself, taking digital information and integrating it, transforming it into existing knowledge, and crucially, understanding copyright and licensing for digital stuff. It's about empowering you to be a producer, an active participant, not just a passive receiver.
Makes sense. Okay, number 6 is learning and digital skill development.
This one's about recognizing the opportunities, but also the challenges of learning online. Understanding your own needs and preferences as a learner in a digital space, and really grasping why lifelong learning is so critical now for personal growth. It also encourages things like open access and sharing information, fostering that mindset of continuous adaptation.
Always learning, always adapting. Got it. And the final one sounds very practical, career-focused, using digital competence for professional life.
Yes, this really brings it into the workplace. It's about using digital tools effectively in specific professional situations, understanding, analyzing, evaluating specialized data or content for your job, and importantly, using the digital environment for innovation, maybe even entrepreneurship. It's really about taking all those digital skills and making them work for you in your career.
Okay, so as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, what really strikes me is how broad digital literacy actually is. Based on this framework and the UNESCO definition it builds on, it's so much more than just using a computer.
Absolutely. It's this powerful mix, isn't it? Critical assessment of information, ethical collaboration, online safety, content creation.
Yeah, it's blending the technical know-how with critical thinking, empathy, that sense of self-responsibility we talked about, all seem completely essential for getting by, let alone thriving, in the digital world we live in now.
Indeed. And the DigiLit 1.0 framework, well, it gives a pretty clear and thorough roadmap for developing all these capabilities across all these different connected areas. It presents a really complete picture of what digital literacy means today.
So for you listening, this framework is actually a really useful lens, a way to maybe assess your own digital readiness. Whether you're, prepping for a meeting, trying to get up to speed in a new field, or just curious, understanding these competencies helps you become, as the framework puts it, that active, critical, and proficient participant online.
And considering how fast technology keeps changing, and the framework itself plans for regular updates, it really leads to a final thought, doesn't it? If Kareem Rashid is right, if there really are no boundaries or borders in the digital age.
Then what's next for you?
Exactly. What new skill, what different perspective are you ready to cultivate next to really make your way and succeed in this constantly expanding digital frontier?